All Things Black with Garland and Calvin present Fanboys. Fanboys is a weekly breakdown of the sports world from a fan's perspective. Now, here are your hosts, Garland and Calvin.
All Things Black presents Fanboys. We are back after just a little break. We're probably going to take another break soon because Labor Day is coming up. But, we're back for now. We got to drop something. We only did one in August, so we got to drop another one, for the end of August. Yes. I'm Calvin. That guy right there is Garland, or wherever you're going to see him when we're doing this. If you're watching, you can see us live on YouTube right now, or you can just listen to the podcast. And if you had Spotify, you'll be able to see our pretty mugs with our Dawn in the New City Connect Oreo joints. You'll be able to see the mugs.
Yes,
doing
Calvin's
that.
fine. I don't know if this is bad luck because you were so against them and wearing it because they were losing in them.
So no, I wasn't against it. Remember, I told you I like the uniform. I just wasn't for them wearing them because they kept losing. They lost like the first 3 games in the City Connect, but they pulled it out last night. They starting to win. Anyway, I'm Calvin. That's my guy Garland. What else is going on besides shaming me?
What's up, y'all? Vacation. I'm sorry. I think I said this the last time we broadcasted. People, when you say you're going to Florida on vacation, everybody want to fight you. Yes, I went to Florida on vacation. I'm sorry, people. I had to go somewhere. It's nowhere safe in America for the black man, so I had to go somewhere. And we went to Florida, had a great time, held an alligator, did some fun stuff. I was in Chicago last week for a couple of days. I'm nice in Almaty. I'm kind of like catching up with one of the sons of Wesley Snipes. That's what I'm calling all these dark-skinned brothers that's they chocolate, they dark. You want some black coffee. Yeah, the sons of Wesley Snipes, because they weren't nothing before Wesley. They were just little crispy critters. but now they all sexy and dark and whatnot. And so at least I'm a little mocha. And I met somebody at the conference where I went to on Wednesday, because as a matter of fact, when I was in Chicago, I think I rode by the place where Cochise was killed in Cooley High, the underpass, when he was killed by Damon.
Yep.
I think I passed that. One of them. There's a whole bunch of them. Just look like that's where Cochise was killed. But I met a young lady from Palm Beach. Her name is Kelly. She says she's going to listen to the podcast. So, Kelly, if you're listening today, shout out to you. Too bad, though, she's a Steelers.
Hey, man, is she from Palm Beach? That's down in Florida, right?
Yeah, she says she's literally maybe 10 minutes from where Trump lives.
See, you went to Florida. You met somebody
in
listening
Chicago.
to you. You call yourself Almaty. They just gonna hurt you, Almaty Brown. They just gonna hurt you. Florida, they just gonna hurt you, Almaty Brown. You holding alligators down in Florida, boy. You
go to Facebook, go to my page. You see me holding a little baby gator, subjecting that they tape the gator mouth and everything. I know I was exploiting animals on the safari, and so I apologize to that.
You about to be indoctrinated. You about to be indoctrinated. I'm surprised. I'm surprised you ain't come up here and say what do they say? Hey Brandon, what do they call Joe Biden? I'm surprised you ain't come up here screaming that.
Just call me Joe Exotic. I was down there. I got a picture on my Facebook page holding the gator.
You don't want to be Joe Exotic.
Right. Don't call me Joe. Call me Leroy Exotic or something. His cousin.
Well, we're glad you made it back. You went through the heart of Chicago where it ain't safe for black people, and you went to Florida where it ain't safe for black people. So I'm glad you.
We're on Earth safe for us right now. So I made it out, y'all. I'm still here.
You got war stories. And you did that all within the span of 2 weeks.
Bruh. Yeah, man. You think it's
like
I'm on Southwest someday, baby.
Wait a minute, you took Southwest too?
Yeah.
That ain't safe for black people either, bro. You
living dangerously. This is the summer of living dangerously.
You are like a Ukrainian going through Russia. It is not. Good
Yo,
gracious.
that's an episode of Homeland right there.
Hey man, what we got going on today?
Bro, we're gonna talk some Orioles and stuff. And uh although we don't really have too much of an update on Bautista from last night, but John Angelos was in the news last week. We want to definitely touch on him. Otani, he's done for the year as a pitcher, but he's still out here swinging that bat. We got R. Kelly, Wanda Franco. He's been placed on admin leave. We're gonna talk a little bit about him. You know, we had to go back and get your boy Michael Oher from the blind side. We definitely gonna dip into that. Talk a little NFL. A couple things has happened. Trey Lance has been traded. Oh my God, Washington D.C. was so happy about ending the Ravens preseason win streak, and we don't even care in Baltimore about that. We've been hoping that they would lose for the last 3 years in the preseason, and go hit you with a little come on, yo. So let's go ahead and jump into some baseball, man. And last night, I think all of Baltimore fell silent. This was almost as catastrophic when all the players from the Ravens got injured 2 seasons ago, and we were waiting for updates. Um, you watched the game last night. The Orioles, they beat the Colorado Rockies in a come from behind victory, 5-4. Run in the bottom of the eighth inning by let's go ahead and just give it to him, the American League Rookie of the Year, Gunnar
Absolutely.
Henderson. Yeah, nobody else is going to get it. And despite that victory, there's concern in the clubhouse as Felix Bautista. He came in to close out the ninth and everything, and it was down to the last strike on the batter and threw a pitch and kind of stumbled off the mound, and looks like he was experiencing some arm discomfort. After that pitch, they brought in another reliever who threw one pitch and got the batter out. But, it's great. Yes, 80 victories for the Orioles. I think most pundits were predicting 79 wins, and so they exceeded that. They have the second best record in the major leagues. They have a 3-game lead over the Tampa Bay Rays, and they have a 99% probability of making the playoffs. It looks like if they continue with what they're doing, they're going to at least have the number one seed. They have the best record in the American League. They're just playing well. They haven't had a losing month so far this season, and they're going to end the month of August with a winning record as well. But how concerned should we be about the playoffs with the Mountains' potential injury?
Yeah, so definitely want to talk about that. Before I do, you mentioned that most of the pundits said that they were going to win 79 to 80 games. Garland is the pundit. Don't believe anything. I'm the one that predicted they would win 100 games. We on the road to 100. Garland is the pundit.
Let me step back. Let me apologize. Calvin did say they were going to win 100. I said about 79.
So let's just make sure we clear that up. Stop trying to put that on somebody else.
Most of the pundits.
That was you.
those other people.
But no, man. So I was at the game last night, and it's kind of frustrating when you're at the game because you don't get the benefit of TV. But from everything that I've heard, even on TV, they weren't quite sure what happened. We saw him throw a pitch. It was actually the pitch he threw was a ball, which
yes,
it was kind of strange because the guy that was up was a pinch hitter hitting 174. So the buzz is just go at him. He had two strikes on him for a ball, and it was a high strike. And all of a sudden, they just came out there. So I didn't know if McCann, who was catching at the time, was going out there to say, "Hey, what are you doing? Like, we just need one strike." But they took him out the game. But how concerned?
It appeared that he stumbled a little bit, and then once he got himself together, he got the ball back. It looked like he was flexing his right arm. I mean, he kept that arm close to his body as he came off the mound. At first, they were thinking, well, maybe it's his foot. Maybe something happened with his leg. But you can tell that he was really keeping that arm close to his body. He did not move his upper body as he left the game. And so, go ahead.
Yeah, and how concerned should we be? We should be very concerned. The Orioles are the king of the comeback wins, and they play a lot of close games. And we've already seen that no one else in the bullpen can really hold those 1 and 2 run leads for us. So we absolutely need Batista. This is now, it shouldn't hurt our chances for the playoffs. I believe we got a 10-game cushion for the second wild cards. It should not hurt the chances for the playoffs. But with as many close games as they play, they're going to need these other guys to step up if Felix is going to be out for an extended period of time. So it is definitely a concern. And then when you get in the postseason, as we all know, especially with baseball, anything can happen. And if you can't hold them 1 and 2 run leads going into the ninth inning, you're in trouble. You are
Definitely.
absolutely in trouble.
Yeah, I don't trust Cano. You know how I feel about
Right.
Cano. I'm not trusting Fuji that much, but at least they have two arms that you could possibly use in the ninth. Uh, I know Columbine just came back. Um, the left-hander who came in last night.
He
I call him Columbine.
he he took we were sitting there like, bruh, you only got to throw one strike. He took a 20 pitch warm up just to throw one ball into the dirt and got
Right,
strike three. But it was like, I was in there yelling like, all right, stop it with the warm-ups. I just need you to
right,
throw one pitch.
bro. I hate
And
warm-ups.
he gets the save and the strikeout. He gets
That's
the
crazy.
save and the strikeout for
That's
throwing
crazy.
one pitch.
Yeah, he comes in, throws it in the dirt. When I used to pitch softball, after the first inning, I don't want a warm up. Just throw
I
me the
don't
ball. Let's
either.
just
I'm with
go.
you. I'm
Yeah,
with
let's
you.
just
They're
go.
like one warm up now. To clearly, for him, he wasn't warming up.
He
You know what I
wasn't
mean?
right.
He
Yeah,
had
I
been
mean,
sitting there the entire
hmm
game. No one was expecting it, so he did have to get some warm up. But it just felt like it took forever. We was just like,
yeah,
let's go. You got that nervous anxiety. You don't know what's happening
hmm
with Felix. You only have a 1 run lead. The guy's
right,
down 2 strikes. You're ready to go home. You like, come on, because it's the last out anyway. It's
right.
just like, come on, man. He took like a 20, and I think that is a 20 pitch. When you first come in the game and haven't
Oh
warmed up,
wow,
I
you
think you
get
do
20.
get 20
Oh,
pitches.
okay,
Yeah, it's something.
okay.
It's a pretty high number because they have to give you a chance to warm up. They can't just let you come in, throw a few, and he has to
hmm
warm up. So I think it was 20 pitches.
Yeah, it's just crazy. But I'm glad that they won 80 games. They continue that series tonight, playing the Rockies, and we see what happens. Hopefully, we'll get some good news on
Yeah,
Bautista today at some point. Brandon Hyde really didn't go into any details last night, other than say there was some discomfort, and so hopefully we'll hear something at some point today in terms of what's going on with him, and hopefully it's good. Hopefully, it's not something long term. And if so, hey, the Orioles have just managed. I think this is just a magical season. They have
it really
just
is.
managed to pull it together at every stop. And it's crazy because the national media still is not really talking about them. They're talking about Atlanta. They're talking about the Dodgers, as they should. They're two great teams, very high payrolls. But the Orioles, I believe they have the best road record in the Major League Baseball. And so, these guys, they can possibly go on the road and win a couple games in a short series. And so we'll see what happens with them. But although they're doing well on the field, one of the things that most people are talking about the Orioles is off the field. And I just want to say something to John Angelos. I know he listens to this show.
All the time.
John, yeah, all the time. That's what I understand. Him and his brother listen to the show a lot. And John Angelo, shut the F up. Okay? Just shut up. Shut up. All right. Last week, in an interview with the New York Times, John Angelo stated that unlike the Atlanta Braves, who have spent money to keep their young superstars, the O's would have to raise prices dramatically to pay their players. Now, Baltimore opened the season with Major League Baseball's second lowest payroll, ahead of only the Oakland A's, who have the worst record in Major League Baseball this season, only won 37 games. Angelo said the hardest thing to do in sports is to be a small market team in baseball and be competitive because everything is stacked against you. Everything, he told the Times. And he continued, I don't think you should run losses. I think you should live within your means and within your market. Also, Angelos, he's been unable to come to a deal with the Maryland Stadium Authority to keep the Orioles at Camden Yards. The O's current lease expires at the end of the year, and though Angelos has long been adamant about the club staying in Baltimore, with a new long-term lease, the Orioles would gain access to $600 million in free money and public funds. Though Angelos has various stages of negotiations as requested an additional $300 million to that, developmental rights for state-owned parking lots, and that the Orioles not have to pay rent. This is crazy. You're getting $600 million, but you want some more concessions as well. And so, Calvin, it's safe to say we can say that John Angelos replaced Robert Irsay Sr. as the worst team owner in Baltimore professional sports history.
Um, Not quite yet. Not quite yet.
He's there. He's got his foot cocked back, about to kick him out of place. You got a team that's in the playoffs hunt. 80 wins, Calvin. You got the second best record in Major League Baseball. You got a gem of a stadium, a moneymaker. A moneymaker. They're going to give you $600 million off the rip. Just here, take it. $600 million.
Let's now make sure I'm clear. He is an ass, and I'm gonna get into how much of an ass that he is, but he's not Ursay level yet. Remember, Ursay took our team away from us, so that's a whole nother level.
That's the only saving grace of this.
That's a whole nother level of shittiness that
the league has already said. Baltimore's not going anywhere.
Yeah,
Baltimore will never leave the state.
Whole nother level of shittiness that he hasn't reached yet. Now, so as you mentioned, shut the fuck up. Like, I used to always have a saying when I was single that I would mess with 90% of the women if they knew how to shut the fuck up. Don't go running and telling our business. And that's the problem that Angelos is having right now. You're talking high level front office ownership stuff when the fans are just feeling good that the product on the field is delivering what we want. Stop putting fans negotiation. Stop telling us that we can't afford it. We realize that because we do it on Twitter all the time. We realize that, you know, in another 3-4 years, how are you going to be able to keep these guys? And even though baseball doesn't have a salary cap, we understand that you have to give them money. So there's a chance that we're going to lose a lot of these guys. But can we enjoy what we have first? Can we enjoy that first? Because you still have control of the core of this younger team for at least, I believe, the next 3 to 4 years to keep them together. So can you let us enjoy this first? We also understand that in order to keep all of these guys, you might have to raise prices. You don't have to jump on that shit and say drastically. You can say prices are going to go up. Okay, prices will probably go up. I think we lost. But anyway, prices are going to go up. But please, the fuck up. Anyway, while we waiting for just getting back on the Orioles. So I believe when it comes to the stadium authority, when it comes to them signing the, it seems like he's trying to work. I know the head of the stadium authority came in and said something like he believes that and Westmore have been discussing things and that he's not privy to. So I think that to whatever it was that discussing. I see you're back. You're back.
I'm back. I'm back.
Stadium authority thing. I think I was talking about just getting the lease from the stadium. I think what's happened, and the guy from the stadium authority came out and said that Westmore and John Angelos seem to be having some backdoor discussions that he's not privy to. It's like they're trying to make some deals, and Westmore, of course, being an advocate to keep Baltimore in, is trying to satisfy John Angelos wants. So, but it's really up to the stadium authority to agree to this. And I'm with you. He's just being greedy. Like it's just okay. Let me not say he's being greedy because we do that greedy. We do that with football players a lot. And we always say it's what the market bears. We don't know what's going on down in Washington. We don't know what's going on in Philly. You know what I mean? We don't know what kind of deals they're getting. So maybe he's trying to be in line with like a New York, some of these larger market stadiums. I don't know. But again, that's the problem. We stop telling us. Now we're starting to think about things where all our energy needs to be on the product on the field. You know, keep selling merchandise. Look at this. Keep selling merchandise. When I went in the store last night, because I had one hat, I went to exchange it. All of the stores are packed. People are buying the new gear, the old gear. I mean, there's such a buzz around Baltimore that it's ridiculous how much people are loving the Orioles once again. So stop soiling our joy, sir.
Yeah, it's just crazy. I just, and this is not a small market team. At best, it's a mid market team.
Thank you.
I mean, and if you have the second lowest payroll, you're getting revenue sharing, you're getting all of this merchandise money, all of these different things. You're making money. You're making money. It's already expensive. Camden Yards is one of the most expensive in terms of concessions, parking, all those things. It's a grip, and so you're already making hand over fist in terms of money. I think your focus should be, hey, let's just be like Steve Bisciotti and just stay quiet until the end of the season.
Exactly. Do what you
We
have to do,
do what you have to do. Keep
but
the
leave us out of
negotiations.
it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Go ahead and Westmore, who I call baldhead Obama, just go ahead and keep on negotiating with homie, and hopefully with you won't. I don't think they would turn down $600 million, but then again, you never know.
And just to
I
clear
mean,
up the
this is a guy
Westmore
that sued
thing,
his brother. This is a guy who's been in court with his
that's true.
brother.
And just to clear up the Westmore thing, I don't know exactly. I'm just going by what I read and just what
Mhm.
I'm gathering from it. Angelos and Westmore are in talks to try to keep him in Baltimore forever or negotiate whatever it is he's looking for.
Westmore, he loves Baltimore versus the last governor. Used Baltimore as his
My
personal
goodness.
toilet paper. And
Mr.
so,
Non-Red Line.
yeah, this guy. All right, Otani, his arm is done for the season. Shohei Otani has a tear in the UCL in his right elbow and will not pitch again this season. Otani exited his start in game one of a doubleheader against the Cincinnati Reds earlier on Wednesday after recording 4 outs and throwing only 26 pitches. One option to repair this, of course, is Tommy John surgery, a procedure he's already underwent on his right elbow in October of 2018, and one that would keep him off the mound for the entirety of the next season, 2024. A development that would significantly impact his free agent sweepstakes that many expected to yield at least a $500 million plus contract. And so let's put on our GM hat for a minute. Would you pay Otani top money as a two-way player now with this latest injury?
Yeah, so it's been widely discussed now that two-way absolutely the question. Now, with that being said, that two-way they were saying is out of the question takes him from right around 700 million to about 550 million. So he's effective possibly going to lose over $100 million. I mean, woe is
Mm-hmm.
you, sir. Woe is you.
Poor guy.
Now, to be very honest, just as a fan, and even thinking maybe in his camp, like it was great while it lasted. The fans got to see it. We love it. But sir, concentrate on hitting. Like you're risking shortening your career. You're risking further injury. I mean, we've seen it. It's great. You can definitely do it. Maybe if you're gonna do it, maybe move you to bullpen or something. I don't know how
Mm-hmm.
that would work, but yeah, it's the wear and tear on your body as you get older. I mean, you sign because he's looking for like a 10 to 12 year deal. So I guess if you sign something like that, it's really not going to matter because guaranteed they're not going to take it away from you. But I would, if I was a GM, I'd be like, hey, we just want you to hit the ball because you're still hitting four. Like what?
He got
You,
44 this year. He needs some
yeah.
aces.
I mean, I would tell him just to stay on one side. We've seen it. It's great. We know you can do it. Thank you.
Right.
It's been amazing and exciting, but think about your career, man. I would end it. Look
Right.
at you. Look at Steven Strasburg. Steven Strasburg. They won a. He signed
He signed that big deal.
big money, and what they say he pitched
Four
since
games.
2019. Yeah, just and now
Mm-hmm.
he's announcing. He announced his retirement, and I was like, I thought he had already retired. That's
Right. I was
how
like, he's
long
still playing.
we seen him.
He didn't even show up for spring training. They was like, yeah, don't even come to spring
Yeah,
training.
it's
And
and
so,
it's he got his injury pitching, of course, and he is a pitcher, starting pitcher. One of probably could have been one of the best ever. So yeah, I think Otani should just stay on the hitting side of the park. Again, we lost Garland, so if you're watching, we lost Garland in the feed. But just going back to Shohei Otani, now this makes it more. how can I say, more, well, easily available for other teams. Now, of course, he's going to go into free agency. If this would have happened prior to, they may have traded him, but
Yeah, I'm having
the
a lot
Angels
of
went ahead and
difficulties today with
put
my camera.
everything
Sorry
into
about that.
him. So between the Angels, between him and Mike Trout, really they bet on him, and like Garland likes to say, they bet on him and they lost.
Right.
The Angels lost
Right.
betting on him, keeping him, and
Right.
well, they were going to keep Trout anyway, but I think they weren't expecting the Trout injury, and that took him out of contention. So
Yeah. I
they're going to
think
lose.
if he elects to have the Tommy John surgery, then he's definitely done as a pitcher. They're saying that, two Tommy John surgeries, you're basically, that's it. That's it. And so yeah, he's worth a lot of money as a hitter, but not
Yeah,
500 million. And I agree with you.
hitter.
I mean,
They were talking
no,
700 million in the
as a
600
pitcher
million
and
range
a
as a
hitter.
pitcher hitter. So you don't think as a hitter 500 million? I think so.
Okay.
I think
Well,
so.
maybe. I
What
mean,
did Tatis get? Didn't Tatis get 250?
Tatis got a lot of money, and I'm trying to think somebody else. I mean, what did Judge get? Judge got a lot of money as well,
Judge got a
and
lot of
so
money. I didn't Judge get you about I think Judge got, I want to say Judge got 3. I'm not
let's see.
sure. But no,
Judge contract.
I think he's worth the, so I, and when I put in the contract worth, I also put in the jersey sales,
Uh
what you
huh.
mean to the city. And I think Shohei also brings another whole dimension to your team. Not just the youth, but now you get the Asian community to see Shohei. Each time I've seen him twice in Baltimore, and each time the Asian community was definitely out to see him.
Sure.
That's a whole new stream of revenue that you're getting
Sure.
there.
Judge, he signed a 9-year, 360 million.
Yeah, he's in 3. So
So he's around there.
Shohei, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's around there definitely. So we'll see what happens with him. But I think definitely he's done as a pitcher. I would not, if
He
I
should
sign him,
he
he
should
has to
be
just
done
be a
as a
one
pitcher.
way
Yeah,
player.
he should be done
Yeah,
as a
it
pitcher.
has to be a one way player. All right, Wanda R. Kelly Franco is placed on an administrative leave. Tampa Bay Rays shortstop Wanda Franco was placed on administrative leave by Major League Baseball on Tuesday in multiple investigations into alleged relationships he has had with underage girls in his native Dominican Republic. Franco, who's 22, missed the past week after the Rays placed him on the restricted list and is being investigated by Dominican police as well as Major League Baseball's Department of Investigations. Now, while no charges have been filed against Franco, a prosecutor last week said a division specializing in minors and gender violence is directing the police investigation. And so, will we ever see Franco play another Major League Baseball game again?
I hope we don't.
Mm-hmm.
And you and I both, and we're really hard on major sports leagues and colleges for sweeping things under the rug. Good for Tampa Bay and Major League Baseball. As soon as we don't know the backstory, but as soon as we realized that they had a whiff of this, he was gone immediately. Like they pull him off the field.
Yeah, they pulled him
Yeah,
off the field.
so he was gone immediately. So, and even have not been charged. Normally they wait and see. Well, we'll see what the court say. Nah, they were just like, you out, you got to go.
Right,
So I hope we
right.
don't see him again. And he's definitely a good player, and the Rays are definitely going to hurt without him. But
I
some
mean, they've
things you
been
just
winning a grip
can't
of
condone.
games ever since
Yeah,
he's been
they
out.
on the they
They
still
on a
on our
run.
ass. So,
Yeah,
but yes,
they on a run.
just can't condone and turning a blind eye or letting him. Of course, they always say you're innocent until proven. He don't. This is Dominican Republic shit. So he guilty. He
Right,
guilty.
right. Maybe the norms of dating someone 15 or 16 or 17 is in the Dominican Republic. I don't want to say he's only 22, and so I'm not making any excuses. All right, fanboy nation, I'm not making any excuses because yes, he is young. I'm not trying to say what like R. Kelly say. Well, how old is she? I'm not trying
I
to
mean,
say that.
when you
When you say
say
young,
teen, I mean,
I
are we
mean
talking 16, 17?
17. you know, that's what R said. I mean, how young? I mean, what are we saying? And so Franco's he's 22, and so I'm not sure what the norm is in Dominican Republic in terms. I mean, is he dating a 10-year-old? We haven't gotten the details. Is she 12? Is she 13? Now, no, no. But yes, I agree with you. He should get due process, and
You
hopefully
get due
he does.
process in
But
his own country. Get
yeah,
that in
yeah,
your own
yeah,
country.
yeah. But we'll see. We'll see what happens with him. But it's
I
unfortunate.
hate
But it
sounding
has
like
not
a
stopped.
conservative. I
Yeah,
didn't mean go country. I just meant the laws here are one thing, and the laws under which he's being charged are another
right.
thing. Let them deal with that. As far as we're concerned, the discretion is out there. You got to go.
Okay, fantastic. All right, man. Let's transition to some NFL. And the blind side got blindsided. Retired NFL player Michael Orr, who played in Baltimore, played on the last Super Bowl team as a starting right tackle for the Ravens, whose supposed adoption out of grinding poverty by a wealthy white family was immortalized in the 2009 movie The Blind Side, petitioned a Tennessee court with allegations that a central element of the story was a lie concocted by the family to enrich its petition alleges that Sean and Leanne Tui, who took Orr into their home as a high school student, never adopted him. Instead, less than 3 months after Orr turned 18 in 2004, the petition says the couple tricked him into signing a document making them his conservators, which gave them legal authority to make business deals in his name. And so a lot has been said about this. And now in Baltimore, if you were a Baltimore Ravens fan, you know that Michael Orr hated The Blind Side. He
Hated
said
it.
as much in the interviews. He hated the movie because he felt it betrayed him as slow, that he was not smart, and that a lot of elements in the story were not accurate. And so, for as a Baltimore Ravens fan, I was not surprised by this. I was not surprised by this at all because he's he stated his hate every time he was interviewed about The Blind Side. He basically said he did not like the movie. And so, what are your thoughts about Orr and the Tuies and what I call the white savior complex? Because this is interesting, and I'll say this about the guy who wrote the book, Michael Lewis. He also wrote Moneyball, which was a study of the Oakland Athletics and how Billy Bean is a movie, and they made a movie on the book as well about how he took the lowest payroll and he started looking for value, certain values in players based on baseball statistics as opposed to spending large money. And so, um, and as a matter of fact, I was doing some research on that book. Art Howe, who was the manager of the A's, said that he did not like the book and the portrayal in the movie. He said because it portrayed him as being against what the management wanted to do on the team, and he was for it. He said that, but in the movie, it made him seem like he was antagonistic towards Billy Bean in terms of not having to have the ability to play players and do certain things. And so, what are your thoughts about this or in Tui situation?
So, just and before anything, Michael Orr won a Super Bowl Ravens. So,
Yes.
like we like to say here, he got the whole Baltimore behind him. He got the whole
Right.
Baltimore behind him. So, now I want to make sure that I say this. I think the way it really works, the TUI did not, although they have the had the ability to sign over. The only thing that they've done was taking the money from the movie. They didn't do anything with his
Mm-hmm.
track. They were a big part of him going to Ole Miss because they're graduates of Ole Miss. Now, I've always thought if you were just truthful with someone, like you have this man believing that he was adopted, and even if you'd have said to him, "Hey, we're going to make this movie, we're going to get the profit from this movie," and give him something, he would have been fine because I think that's his whole thing is, "Hey, I want just some money from the movie." That's about
Right.
now that he's learned all of this, what's starting to come out is no, again, he's airing his grievances. I wasn't stupid. I already knew how to play football. She never came out and showed me how to block on the offensive line. And a
Right.
lot of things are always going to be theatrically redone for audiences and movies and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they just weren't honest. Now, I'm with you on this whole white savior complex thing. That's why I've always hated the movie Hardball. People seem to love that movie with Keanu Reeves, and if you remember the Little League and G Baby got killed, and then
Yes.
the guy
Yes.
dancing on the mat. I hated that movie because this drunk white man that was, I believe, he was sentenced to run this
Mm-hmm.
team, didn't
Community
even want to run
service.
the team. Then all of a sudden, you showed up. You showed up. I can't stand that goddamn movie just because of that, just because of that white savior complex. I never really looked at the blind side as white because I thought that most of it was true. I think the issue is here's the real rub is you see Michael Orr got him a black girl, and she was probably like, Mike, I find it kind of funny that I'm looking through all of your checks, but you don't have anything from Paramount or Fox or whoever made the movie. I
Right.
find it kind of funny that we ain't got no money from this big
Right.
movie. You
Where
don't
your
think
movie
that's
checks
funny?
at?
You don't think that's funny? Why? Why you don't think that's funny? And she said, "Let me go." This is Mike, and she was
Mm-hmm.
like, "Oh hell no!" She probably called her, Mrs. Tui, can I talk to you for a minute?
Right.
she
Yo,
was
yeah.
she was like,
Shaniqua went
sure,
through them
sure,
checks.
sure, sure. Go ahead. What is that you need, Lakeisha? Um, I was just looking, and how come Mike don't have no money from the movie? And but your
Right.
kids do. That's the other thing.
Right.
Not only did the mother and father, but the kids got paid. How the kids get paid?
That's crazy. That's crazy. And Calvin, the whole thing, even the conservatorship, that's kind of muddy too. That's messy because they wanted to steer him to their alma mater. I wonder if they got any kickback from Ole Miss
What you mean you
from
wonder? You know they did.
they
You
got
know
some kickback from steering or there. And I mean, they sat with they probably sat with Ole Miss and figured this out. How do we get Michael Orr there? And Ole Miss, okay, you gotta do this, do that. They consulted some lawyers and they did it. That's the only reason probably why they did that. Because I mean, if you're doing this out of the good of the heart, the good of your heart, how all of a sudden you come up with some papers like, hey, I'm doing this out of the good of my heart, but I got some legal papers I want you to sign
they probably
because
wanted to negotiate that NFL contract. They probably wanted to be part of that. And they aren't. So, well, let me back
right.
up. As far as we know, they aren't. Michael Orr
Mhm.
may have gotten his own agent or something. You
Well,
never know. So
they made enough off of that movie. I mean, these people were already kind of had wealth going for them. They owned several fast food franchises and different things like that, and so they were not broke in a sense. But hey, they saw an additional cash cow come into that house. Like, oh yeah, hell yeah, you can sleep here. Yeah, I'm gonna get you a room and take you to DXL to get some clothes and get you outfitted.
not DXL.
Yeah, they took old boy to DXL, son. It might have been casual mail then. They took old boy to casual mail then. got, got him some 4X's, some 5X's, got him them big jeans.
What's the who was the star of the movie? Sandra Bullock.
Yeah,
For all you
she
people that
won an
saying,
Academy Award for
yeah, for
that,
all you
Cal.
people saying that she should get that back, she wasn't, y'all. She just
She
did
was so
her part.
convincing as C.I.
Yes,
Tui,
I
though.
mean, y'all, she need to get that back. She ain't do nothing wrong.
Calvin, when he was having struggles staying on side, when he was, remember, he had this offsides run, illegal procedures run, and people used to be like, yo, get Sue and Tui down here. Now we know the boy was being
That's,
exploited. And
that
so,
movie would have never made it past the cut floor in 2022,
no,
21, 20. It would have never made it.
but it was perfect for the time that it came out. That was move on.
And it was an entertaining movie. Let me not sit here and act like when it out, I didn't watch it like, oh, this is actually a decent movie. I watched that bitch. I watched it.
It was all right. It was suspect. This kid who he's being taught by some little white kid with some condiments on the table of how to block. Get out of here. All right.
Got you looking like a straight gump in that movie.
Right.
I don't need that's not my
Looking like,
Michael. My
as
Michael
we
is
would say
smart.
in Baltimore, he looked like a straight mop in that movie.
Got my Michael looking all crazy shit. Uh-uh.
Oh my god! All right, so Taylor gets permission to seek a trade. The Indianapolis Colts have given Jonathan Taylor until Tuesday to find a suitable trade partner after authorizing the star running back earlier this week to engage with other teams in search of a trade partner. 6 teams have inquired about Taylor's availability, and 2 of them have engaged the Colts with offers. The situation remains fluid, and it's unclear whether a team is willing to meet the Colts trade demands, which have been described by sources as being a first round pick or a package of picks with similar value. And so, what are your thoughts about where do you think Taylor will end up?
So, Miami has gone back and forth with them a couple
Mm-hmm.
times. So when it first came out, remember J.K. Dobbins was on the PUP list, but
Right,
really
right.
he was on the want more PAY list. So I was like, trade J.K. Dobbins ass for Jonathan Taylor. I will take that in a minute. I think another trade is Taylor wants the contract also. Now, of course, he doesn't have any saying that they can trade him without him getting a new contract. But any team that he goes to, he wants to have a new contract. I'm not quite sure where he is. They mentioned Miami being a team that could use him. Kansas City puts him that almost takes them to the top if he's the Jonathan Taylor that he can be because he ended the season
Yeah,
early last year because
yeah,
Kansas City, Buffalo. I mean, we're talking about AFC contenders that could use his services and really, really open their team up even more than what it is now. But speaking of bad owners, that's Ursay shit. Did you even remember when Ursay came out and said, "Well, if I die today, or and Jonathan Taylor died, no one will remember." Shut the fuck, shut your
right.
druggy ass up. Ursay's are
Go
awful
buy a
people.
guitar.
Awful people.
I mean, I hope he ends up in the NFC somewhere, not in the AFC North. I hope he ends somewhere up in the NFC somewhere,
Yes,
running a lot of touchdowns.
please.
Yeah,
And not
please go there.
Washington, not Washington, because I
Yeah,
don't need
not
to hear about
Washington.
that either. I don't need to hear
Oh
about that.
my God. The Niners they traded Trey Lance to the Cowboys. They agreed to trade him to the Cowboys in exchange for a fourth round draft choice last night. They're not picking up any of Lance's remaining salary as part of the trade, and he and Lance was informed earlier this week that Sam Darnold had beaten him out for the number 2 quarterback job behind starter Brock Purdy, the luckiest man in the world, and so he requested a trade. Now, just a quick analysis. This probably has to be the worst draft trade in Niners history. You traded 3 first round picks to move up to take a guy who had only played 12 college games as quarterback. You had him for 3 years. He only started 3 games for you. Um, got bit by the injury bug, was behind Garoppolo, then finally got a chance and then broke his leg. And then you brought in the guy who was Mr. Irrelevant. He had a great season. We'll see if that follows up this year.
He didn't have a
And
great season. He had a great few games. Remember,
well, okay,
Garoppolo
yeah,
got him through
he
the
had a
heart of
great
that
six
season.
game.
Yeah,
Garoppolo got him through the heart of that season. Then Purdy comes in, those like, but you would have thought he played the whole season based on
the
what
way
people
they acting.
projected. The way they're acting, you thought he started all 17 games. And so, what are your thoughts about this in terms of the Niners and this you could basically say this was a bust.
Yeah, it was definitely a bust in terms of what they gave up to as the third pick in that draft. But it remains to be seen, how good he is. Maybe like a steal for the Cowboys. But if he turns out to just sit on the bench, because right now he's the third string quarterback in Dallas,
Right.
Possibly fourth string, which mean he wouldn't be on the team. But if he winds up something like that, then a fourth round pick doesn't quite compensate San Francisco for what they gave up, but it compensates them for what they are, what he was. If he turns out to be a good, decent backup and maybe even a starter somewhere else, then John Lynch should be fired. You gave up 3 first-round picks. What saves John Lynch is that they are the definite mob. Number one, they have an amazing Kyle Shanahan being an amazing coach. But they are the definition of not paying the quarterback, but paying everybody around them because stacked, and they are using a Mr. Irrelevant to start this. See how that works out. But I hope Trey Lance kills. I think Dallas is a good place for him to somebody like Dak, because you would think they had similar skills the way they talked about Trey Lance, and Dak hasn't remained healthy for the past. And he could be the heir apparent. You just never know.
That's
so
what I'm thinking, Calvin.
hopefully,
maybe it puts Dak on notice that
Mhm.
hey, if you're not showing us something in the next year or two, we got something waiting in the wings. Yeah.
I wish well for him. I've drafted him in fantasy a couple times, and of course, last year was the only year he actually got in a couple games, but then he got hurt.
Right. So we'll see what happens for him, but the Niners move on. Hey, man, if you didn't realize, last week the Commanders won the Super Bowl of the preseason. The Baltimore Ravens' 24-game preseason win streak ended on Monday night in a 29-28 loss to the Commanders, who erupted in celebration on the field and on the sideline. Joey Sly's 49-yard field goal with 9 seconds left remaining handed the Ravens its first loss in the preseason since 2015, which was 3 years before the team drafted Lamar Jackson. When Sly converted the winning kick, he flashed an L with his fingers towards his sideline before jumping into the arms of a teammate. The Commanders' sidelines threw up arms in a raucous celebration. And so, most Baltimore fans, we hated this preseason win streak. We hated the streak. We were not bragging on it. We were not hanging our hats on it. We did not care. Only people that care was the sports media people. And maybe John Harbaugh. He definitely cared too. But I think that's probably the only people in Baltimore that cared about it. And we didn't pay any attention to it. As a matter of fact, all we were concerned about was no players getting injured. We wanted to make sure that they came out of preseason with no players injured. And so, what's your thoughts about this and them celebrating and all this other stuff? A preseason win. I mean, this is not knocking off the 17-0 Patriots in the Super Bowl.
So, first of all, I'm with you. From the Steelers, Mike Tomlin, he was in an interview some years ago, and they asked him a question about something, and he came out quick with, "We do not care." Listen,
right.
I did not. Now, I watched the preseason game. I only watched the preseason game for 2 reasons. I wanted to see Zay Flowers, who didn't disappoint, and I wanted to see Kevon Mitchell, I believe his name is.
Yeah.
And he got hurt, which for an injury.
They say he came out without any major injury.
Oh, good. And he played well. Mm-hmm. And it just turned out to happen in the game, so I stayed tuned in. But they were really the only reasons I watched, but I stayed tuned in because it was a good game. And of course, towards the end, you're looking at your team like, come on, you can pull this out. But when they lost, I just damn, lost that one. But I mean, it's a new day in DC. I mean, game, all I heard was, "Wind me up, Chuck. Wind me up, Chuck." They was going they asses down to the White House.
Yeah, Mo.
Beat them Bammers. Beat them Bammers all week long. We gonna beat them Bammers. Yo, they was.
Yo,
Yeah, it's
I heard
like
they ran out of
yo.
mumbo sauce. They were so happy that they ran out of mumbo sauce in DC.
But the Magic Man can get them some mumbo sauce. I told y'all we was gonna win. The Magic Man
Right, you
is
got
coming
Magic
through.
up here tweeting. You got the owner in the booth. He
The owner,
oh.
Joe Buck, want to shake his hand. Joe Buck is like, "Sir, it's a preseason game. I wasn't shaking your goddamn hand."
Yo, you on the
Yeah.
sideline for a preseason game cheering?
got EJ out
Right.
downtown. It's going down. EJ.
They
It's going
letting
down.
EJ try out for the cheerleaders.
My
squad.
team is burgundy. My daddy's skin is brown. EJ, they need to get EJ out there playing tight end. EJ a big dude, yo. Yo, they took a picture. And what's Magic? Ain't Magic like 6'7"?
6'9".
Yo,
Magic is 6'9".
EJ is
the
like
family and EJ on the side.
I was like, yo, he need to be catching passes from Sam Howell.
Yo, you can't tell me inside Magic ain't like, I done had this boy, he got my height, and he ain't do nothing. What this
EJ
could carry on my legacy.
EJ could catch one of them passes and be like, oh, get off of me. Touchdown.
We on grass?
Let me leave. Let me leave
my
EJ alone.
Balenciagas might get dirty.
Let me leave EJ alone. EJ don't bother nobody. You never hear about him in the news or nothing. He living his life. But nah, man, DC was just, they were, oh my gosh. DC was shit.
DC just went crazy.
I thought it was funny. I didn't get upset with them. You know, they changed ownership. It is a new day. It is definitely a new day in DC. So good for them. The celebration was over the top, but I think they were really celebrating more than just ending the streak. I think they were celebrating the whole new ownership thing. They got a win, their stuff. So, you know, good for them. I mean, pipe down, Bammers, but good for y'all.
Act like a winner. Oh, I forgot. They ain't won nothing in a long time.
So they used to win when they had the hog. They, you know, was that back in the 80s?
Yeah, bro.
And they remember they had RG, they had RG3, and they, you know, they were going to do something until he ran into Haloti Nada and his leg wrapped around Haloti Nada's back.
Leg was like, they kept showing it on the reruns.
And they actually won. The Ravens
won
the
game.
Super Bowl. Ravens won the Super Bowl that year, but they actually won that game. So,
as a matter of fact, I think Kirk Cousins came in that game.
Kirk Cousins came in
kind
of
like
overtime.
Kirk Cousins' career.
Yep, they won it. They won it overtime, and Kirk Cousins actually ran a quarterback sneak to tie the game. I remember.
Yeah.
Because you know, DC Baltimore games, the ones that count, you actually remember.
Right.
But oh my kid, they play preseason every year. Every year they play DC in the preseason.
Bro, I fell asleep on the game. I woke up and I just checked my phone like, oh wow, they lost. Went to bed. I ain't care. People text me, yeah, bro, I told you to get out of here with that crap.
We do not care.
Thank you. Let's talk about the Ravens real quick. Saturday today is the last preseason game, and so next week we're going to get some cut downs. And so J.K. Dobbins, he returned to practice, as you mentioned earlier, a couple weeks ago, and this has been a relatively injury-free training camp, the first in a couple years. And so the Ravens, they're in a good position, but there are several players on the bubble in terms of making the team. Now, let's run through this, Calvin. I want to get your yay or nay. Are they going to make the roster or not? Let's start with the obvious boy, James Prochet. Now, James Prochet.
I'm sorry, that's a real question?
That's a real question. James Prochet. Will James Prochet II make this roster?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Yeah, he was cut after the first preseason game. First preseason game, he fumbled a punt. Second preseason game against Commanders, down inside the 5. Then on the pass that was intercepted in the end zone, instead of just stopping and going for the ball, I don't know what he was doing. And yeah, Prochet to me now in the games he has not had a good preseason. I don't know, I'm not out at camp or anything like that. Maybe he's setting the world on fire at camp, but
He
in the
should have been
games,
cut during the season last year. If this was been designated for assignment, he's done. No, he's not making the team.
well, hey, if Jorge Mateo is still on the Orioles roster,
Whoa,
maybe James
Jorge,
Prochet will make this. I know, God,
Jorge
I'm doing
is
some.
the fastest man on the team. They're gonna
That don't mean
need him.
nothing.
They're gonna need
Don't
him to
mean-
pinch run.
he
They
can't hit
do
the ball to get on
because
base.
can't run. Santander
Santander
can't
is
run.
funny. Santander,
He
when he
always
tagged up at
try.
third yesterday, I was like, he gonna get thrown out.
He
Out.
always
He out. If that throw was online, he would have been out.
exactly. So no,
But he think he got wheels.
he does think he got wheels. You can
All
see
right,
it in his face too.
right. He think he got wheels. Devin Duvernay.
Devin Duvernay is going to make the team. Yes.
I agree with you. Although Mitchell has been returning kickoffs during the preseason, I still think that's Duvernay's job. They're just, letting him have a little rest during the preseason. I think he's also still your major punt returner. This is a 2-season All-Pro special teamers, and I think in this offense we might see his receiving chops.
Absolutely. That's what I
outside
was
of
going to
that
say.
end around play that
Yeah.
that
And
Roman
he
loved to run with him.
and he'll be the number 5, so he will have possibly a linebacker or a safety on him. And yeah, he can do his thing. He can do his thing.
All right. Justice Hill.
Yes. I think Justice Hill makes this team. He should make the team anyway.
I think that Justice Hill makes this team because he's the best special teamer they got. He's their best
Okay.
punt coverage, kickoff coverage. I don't think that could be dismissed.
I think he'll
And
get some carries though.
He's going to get some carries, but I think in terms of special teams, you can play him on Sundays because of the special teams.
Okay.
And he's there just in case your running backs go down. Melvin Gordon.
If so, it's a toss up between him and Mitchell. They didn't spend a lot on Gordon, so it's no problem with him not making the team. He is a veteran presence. I don't think he makes the team though. I think Mitchell makes the team. I'm more than 4 running backs. I think Mitchell makes the team.
I agree with you. I don't think Gordon makes the team. I don't think they carry more than 3. Maybe they sneak Mitchell on the practice squad. I don't think we're going to see a lot of Mitchell today in this last preseason game because they don't want people to see him. And they hope he's going to pass through some waivers and they can put him on the practice squad. But yeah, Melvin Gordon, I mean, I think it's just a numbers thing. But yeah, he doesn't give you much outside of just
they signed him for insurance. Now JK is back.
Right.
Mitchell is looking good, so yeah.
So
yeah,
you're going forward with that. Tyler Snoop Huntley.
Yeah, he's the backup. I mean, there's no. So I know that people were thinking that Johnson Brown combination last week was determined in the backup. That was determined in the third string. Tyler, Snoop is making the team. Like it's not even a question.
Okay,
so anybody that thought he wasn't going to, yeah, you're wrong. He lead the team back up.
So you think they take 3 quarterbacks? What about Josh Johnson and Anthony Brown?
Well, you know how I felt about Anthony Brown last year. I thought he should have been the one playing in the Bengals game over Snoop, but I think they're going to carry 3. But I don't know who.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't. So Brown, he doesn't get enough playing time to see any improvement from what he did last year. Johnson's more of a veteran. I think Johnson will make the team over Brown.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. I would go with Johnson. He's just a veteran. He's been there, and so we'll see what happens. And last, Tylan Wallace, wide receiver.
Yeah, so this is the tough one. This is where you start getting into the because you already know who your four are going to be. You got Bateman, you got Beckham, you got Flowers, and you have Aguilar. So now we're adding into that mix Duvernay. So I think Wallace makes the team because Prochet is awful. I think Wallace makes the team, but
I agree with you.
it also
Go ahead.
depends. Well, they're going to carry. They would have to carry six because you never know about status for Beckham or Bateman day to day. Now, but what does that do to the tight end side of the? You know what I mean? Because now
Right.
you got four tight could make the team. You already know and likely are going to make it. Now you got two more guys. Do you
I
get
think
Cola to
Kohler.
make it, or do you
I
get
think
Kuka
Kohler
Luka?
makes it.
What's his name?
Yeah, I forget his name. I was gonna put him on the list. I don't. I think they're invested in Kohler. The only reason why Kohler did not play last year was because of the injury. They drafted him knowing he was injured. They've developed him. I think they're going to give him a year to show if he can play. And so I think they keep Kohler likely. Of course, Andrews is going to be there. I'm kind of a little worried about what they do with Pat Ricard. They're paying him a lot of money, but where's his position? Because this is not going to be. This is going to be a three wide receiver set type of offense, and so you're not going to have a lot of fullback plays in this or fullback need for fullbacks. I know they've tried to uh, put him at tight end and like a kind of like a Nick Bowl type situation of a blocking tight end. He did come into the league playing defensive lineman. And so, maybe there's some thought, he could play there in some spot situations. And so we'll see. But, I'm not quite sure about, what happens with Ricard. And so it's just, it's a different feeling offensively because they're transitioning out of this super run heavy offense to
Mhm.
offense that's a little bit more balanced with a lot more passing. So
So you got three tight ends, six.
yes, three
Okay.
tight ends, six wide receivers. Yeah,
Okay.
so I
Okay.
think that's the way to go. And so we'll see. And just want to give you guys a little. This is like a little taste of what we're going to do next week as we do our NFL preview show. We did it last year and all, and so we're going to do it again for this coming weekend.
The NFL
Now,
preview show where I picked the Eagles and the Bills.
why
Bills
you
didn't even.
always got?
At least the
You
Eagles.
always
No,
got-
because every week you were killing me. You were like, "Well,
I
just look at
was.
standings. Calvin is at 5 wins and 7 wins total. I'm at 35 wins total. I mean, he'll never catch." He was killing me last year.
I was killing you. I did do a good job in the overall. I was the overall game picker and all, and so we'll see. We'll see. We're gonna see. We're gonna see. All right, we're at the favorite segment that everybody loves. Come on, yo, and I'll go first. Calvin's got something real good, but I got something a little good, and so this past week, we heard something from my friend Giannis Antetokounmpo. If you remember earlier this year, the first seeded Milwaukee Bucks, they were eliminated from the first round of the NBA playoffs by the eighth seeded Miami Heat, 4 games to 1. And if you remember, Giannis was asked after Game 5 if the season was a failure by a reporter, and he basically lost his mind. There's steps to it, Michael Jordan played 15 years, won 6 championships. The other 9 was a failure. We're going to come back next year and try to be better, to build good habits, try to play better, not have a 10-day stretch where we play bad basketball, and hopefully we can win a championship. That's my best Giannis. And so, but this past week, Calvin, Giannis said he doesn't plan to sign a contract when he becomes eligible next month, and that he won't sign until he's comfortable knowing that the organization will continue to compete for a championship. In an interview with the New York Times, Giannis said that numbers wise, it doesn't make sense, adding that the organization still has something to prove before he potentially signs an extension next summer. So, what happened between May, when the season was not a failure, to now Giannis is saying, I ain't signed nothing until I know we compete. So Giannis, I guess winning is everything. You did fail. You failed. You went back to Greece. You were chilling out. You was out on the yacht and you was looking at the hills and you realized that, man, this past season was a failure. My brother, he's on the team, but he's a scrub. He's the only reason he's on the team because his last name is Antetokounmpo. Uh, Middleton, I don't know if he's actually going to be there some days. They fired the coach, and now they have no Euros in Milwaukee. And so I'm not going to sign until I know we are winners. And so, Giannis, come on, yo. You can't be talking about the season was not a failure. It takes time, but now it's time for you to re-up. And you like, what I really was saying was, I need to see what y'all gonna do because I'm not sure. And so, come on, Giannis. Either you in or you out. You trying to build or you trying to get a quick. Looks like to me, Giannis is trying to get a quick.
First of all, Nelson Mandela is looking down. It's a lot like me. Giannis, man, that sounds a lot like me.
I like that. Hello, I am Giannis Mandela.
You sound just like, oh, I was getting inspired.
You thought you was in Invictus, the movie? You go
We will
win for
not-
the country.
We will not back down. But nah, man, I'm with you on Giannis. Giannis was all like, was it a failure? Yeah, it was a failure. Now I ain't so it's so crazy because you're within 3 years of a championship for Milwaukee,
right?
Acting like they've been horrible the entire
They had
time.
the best seat. They had the best record last year going into the playoffs. So
Like,
it's not like you were on a terrible team.
Exactly. You're acting like Dame. Like Dame's like, I want to win it in Portland. Dame would be happy to have won that championship. And
Right.
yeah, the team didn't quite live up to expectation after that. But yo, calm down. Like, jeez. First of all, they fired the coach. Once they fired the coach, you knew that this thing was blowing up. Like they're in somewhat of a rebuild mode, but that's a rebuild mode around you. But now it's like you're rushing them. So come on, sir, chill out. Come on, yo. Come on, Red. Come on.
They have no Euros, and I like a Euro when I finish games.
Ladies, gentlemen,
I'm not
Giannis
resigning.
Mandela.
Thank you, y'all.
Hey man, let me get to my come on, yo. My come on, yo is about the Orioles, but it has to center around the brotherhood of friendship. Me and my homeboy James Walls, we go to a lot of Oriole games and we generally go to winners. We may have seen 1 or 2 losses over the past couple of years. Well, we decided to open up the what do you call it, the consiglatory, we thought we were gonna open it up, and we invited
open the books,
Garland and Jason, to come to a game with us, and we went to the all you can eat section. The time got to see the LA Dodgers, and they lost. The Orioles lost. We brought Garland and Jason, and the Orioles lost. Now, this week, Jay and myself, we went to Thursday night game. Now we 2-0. This coming Monday, we are going to the game, and joining us are Garland and Jason. If y'all brotherhood going, y'all gonna have to pick y'all weight up, and these O's are go. Because if the O's lose, we gonna start rolling solo duo or duo solo, whatever. We don't need y'all no more because we done already lost Batista. So we don't mind losing Garland and Jason Nista. We don't mind. They out of here. Let us go to this game. Let us go to this game Monday, and Jason and Garland mess up me and Jay. It may not be both of them. It may just be one of them. But we don't have the forensics to figure out which one dudes are killing our Orioles. We don't know. I mean, Jason get there early and drink a lot. Garland hate everybody. So we don't know who. First, if you've ever been to a game of Talk Sports with Garland, everybody.
That's not true.
If Gunnar Henderson strikes out, Garland will be like, that's that goddamn Brandon Hyde who should have never put Gunnar in that position. Come on, yo. Hey, Jason and Garland, come on, yo. Pick up your pick up your weight. Bring this win. Oh my God.
This is blasphemous.
Jay, if the Orioles did not win Monday, they are no longer invited to the brotherhood. Y'all not coming. Matter of fact, men of girth are done. Men of girth are done.
Out of the 4 men there's only 2 men of girth.
Exactly, and I ain't going to no more. So the men of girth are done at sporting events.
You know what? I was pre-warned about this. Come on, yo. And I will say this. The last time I went to a game, which before I went on vacation, it was the Astros game. It was a day game. The Orioles won that game. And so I've been to 1, 2, 4 games this year. My record is 3-1. The only loss that I have is with the men of girth. With Jay and Calvin.
So you're saying it's so basically
yes.
What you're saying is
I'm gonna put it on him.
Jason, you heard him. It's you, sir. Jason, it is you. You are the bad luck.
What's Jason's record? Because I've been to 4 games and I'm 3-1.
Now, Jason did come with us to open day and they won. So as far as I know, his record is 1-1. That's as far as I know. Now, he was supposed to go to the Dodgers game that next night with his wife, and I think they lost that.
They lost that game too. Yeah.
So Jason possibly could be one. Yeah. The evidence is back. Yeah. In the case of Jason, we, the men of girth, you guilty of being bad luck for the Orioles,
bro. I'm sorry, Jason.
I can't believe
it's because you in shape. That's the reason. It's because you in shape. All right.
You hating on? He's a golf dude just like you. He a golf pro.
Mean, we can still be 18, Jason. But in terms
come on,
of
yo. Hey, Jason, he threw you. Jason, he threw you under the bus. Yeah, I'm sorry, Jason. And Jason. And I'm gonna give you the ticket when you get down there. I don't even know if I'm gonna give you the ticket, man. I might have to call somebody else. Even know, but we'll see. All I'm saying is, hopefully, none of this matters. Hopefully, the Orioles will win on Monday, and none of this
playing
matters.
The White Sox. White Sox ain't got nothing to play for.
Yeah, we said that about the Rockies last night, and they almost pulled that one out.
True.
Hey, man, another great show. We will do our NFL preview next week. We usually do that in 2 parts. We're just going to do it in 1 part next week because the following is Labor Day, and what's coming up after Labor Day would be the start of the season. So we want to, give you all the information you need to put your fantasy teams together because we know you listen to us for fantasy advice and things like that. So
we know. We're your fantasy source. I mean, come on, man.
Hey, man,
the Greek, you would know. I correctly predicted all of the playoffs last year. So.
Sir,
not all of them. I mean, the majority of them. Most of them.
Hey, we definitely appreciate you joining us. Remember, this podcast is on all of the podcast platforms and on Spotify. You can actually see the recording. You can see us talking. YouTube, we are live, but you can go back and watch past episodes.
And I was having some camera difficulties, y'all, so y'all might see a little glitching on.
He called it camera difficulties, but my shine, it's kind of powerful over here. I'm like 8.
I think it's because of my skin tone. It's the mocha-ness of my skin tone versus the son of Roberts. I mean, not Robertson, the son of Snipes over there.
I forgot colorism looms large with the men of girth, because this dude right here, he always talked about my blackness.
I am an HBCU grad, so it's all about the paper bags, baby.
Yeah. In softball, we used to play a light skin, dark skin game at our cookout. We used to hold the paper bag up next to be like you on the light.
I'd have won that.
We were so racist. We were so racist with each other. Hey, but this has been a great outro. We will definitely talk to you. And we have the Shy recording coming up.
Yes.
We've done it this Monday, but game coming.
About the Shy.
We do it at Labor Day. So make sure you catch up on the Shy, and we'll be doing our Shy broadcast, because we know you
waste
all
some
love
time and
it.
watch that, y'all.
Yeah,
get that
watch
time
all
back
the
and watch.
Hey man, later, Garland.
You have been listening to Fanboys, an all things black with Garland and Calvin production. Thank you for listening, and make sure to rate and review this episode on all of your podcast platforms.